function doesn't work as it should work. So if we design or develop a sock, we first must think what the sportsman really needs. So I think this is really the first step. Think, okay, I want to go ski, I want to go run. What is important in my case for a sock? What must a sock do for me? Yeah. So yeah, we can do it together. Let's think. Maybe we can start with ski because it's really different from skiing and running. It's good to have this, but without pencil. What must the running sock do?
Compression.
Compression.
To breathe.
Yeah.
What does it mean to breathe? It's always everyone says to breathe.
Well,
ventilation.
that it doesn't keep like moisture.
Okay. So moisture transport or
Ventilation, maybe. Ventilation.
ventilation? Okay, I write it down.
Yeah.
It needs to be comfortable.
It has to stay in one place, it can't like slip around.
Okay. So not slipping? That's already...
Maybe support, or is that same compression?
Hardly. Okay, main task. I think one thing which is important is missing is, let's say, protection cushioning and this kind of things, because one of the main problems of sport people is blisters, and blisters are coming from different reasons, so the cushioning, the protection is also an important issue. So these are also the targets we are following with our actual products. Looking at the presentation. These are the 3 pillars, how we call it, what every sock must fulfill to be an ergonomic sport system. So it's anatomy. Yeah. So anatomy is comfortable, non-slipping, so a really good fit, which is, it seems to be stupid, but it's one of the most important things for a sock. If a sock doesn't really fit good, everything else is not really working. So this is maybe stupid, but if you look in the market, a lot of sport socks, conventional sport socks, are not fitting really perfect with the feet. This is very important for us, that a sock fits quite good to the feet. Later on I will use the solutions, the technical solutions we have to achieve this goal. But the goal is an anatomically perfect sock, which is important for comfort and slipping. Then ventilation, breathability, we call it channel control. It's also very, very important in sport and running that you get the moisture out of the shoe as quick as possible. I will tell you later on how it works, but this is really, in sport, one of the most important goals for all sports, especially for running and for trekking is very important. And protection, as I mentioned before, is also important to avoid that you get blister, that you get injuries in the Achilles tendon or whatever. So it's really important to give some protection, and even a sock can do something for protection. It's not just a shoe or other articles, even the sock can do some real good things for protection. I have some socks here. Because the main idea, the main principle is the same for all socks. Maybe we can pass socks around that everybody has one sock. It doesn't matter if it's a running sock or a skiing sock, the main idea is always the same. So for anatomy, what we do left and right socks. Other competitors in the market do the same, but we have 2 patents, and what the competitors are doing is different. I don't want to talk about the competitors, but I just want to explain what we are doing. You see here a left sock on the left feet. It fits really perfect, especially here in the toe area. You don't have too much material in any area. If I put a right sock, on the same feet. Somebody has a right sock?
Yeah. Right.
I've got it one here. You see here, there's too much material. Normally, all conventional socks on the market, most of our collection socks, are knitted around.
Yeah.
So the toe area is around. You have the same length in the inner side than in the outer side. But normally feet are formed different. Normally feet are formed that you have the longer feet in the inner side and the shorter feet in the outer side. So with conventional socks, sometimes you have too less material here that the toe twists a little bit to the inner side, or too many material here, the short toe, and then you get simply too much material beneath the foot, and then you are really rubbing with this material. It's very uncomfortable. So with this left and right toe form, how we call it, we guarantee really a perfect fit of the sock to the feet, which is very important. And this is one of our principles we have in all our socks that we should carry over, because it's one of our USPs. Is clear?
Yeah.
Then second thing, what we do if you have the sock in your hand, you feel we have different areas. We have a cushioned area, which normally is here in the yellow area and the red area, which is thicker, and if you touch here the top of the sock, the white area, you feel it's much thinner.
To see that for your ball of your foot.
Yeah, exactly. Sport people want two different things. They want, on one hand, protection. Protection means thickness, main material to absorb your weight, to absorb the shock of the footprint. But on the other side, they want a thin sock to have a good contact to the shoe, good control. Especially for ski, it's very important to have a direct contact to the shoe. So what we do the thicker parts just in the areas where you have impact, and the thinner parts in all other areas, to have two things at the same time: protection where you need it, and good control, good contact to the shoe in all other areas. And you see that, for example, in the footbed, it's formed like a footprint. So here in the inner area it's thin because you never hit the ground. If you look at your footprint, you see that you will not have to hit the ground here on the inner side. So we just have protection areas in those areas where you have impact, and keep the rest of the sock as thin as possible. So we have two things at the same time: protection and good control. And as the impact zones on the left and right feet are different, the footprint is different, then if you look at your ankles, they are differently placed. The inner ankle is normally higher than the outer ankle, and we cover each ankle and don't cover the rest of the foot. So each cushioning zone is exactly placed where you need it for your feet. That means anatomic for us. So there where you need it is a protection zone, which is a thicker material, and where you don't need it, it's a thinner material with a good contact. The last thing which is important for an optimum fit or for anatomy is we do every sock in a men and women version. So we're not doing unisex, we have really men and women. I think this is important also for you in design at the moment. To be honest, our women's socks is technically different. They are knitted on different cylinders. We've seen in the production, you've seen an open machine also?
Yeah.
The socks are knitted always on a cylinder, on a round cylinder, and the women's cylinder is narrow. So it's really a special machine for each women article. But the design at the moment is the same for men and women. And what we hear a lot of from the market, that our women's socks are not feminine enough. So it's mostly we design a men's article, we make technically a women's article out of it, but we didn't change a lot of design elements. So we are, from the look, we are more masculine than feminine. Okay? But for us, technically it's important to have a different machine to get a different shape, because the women feet in the same shoe size has 30% less volume than men feet. In the sport is very well known. We have each shoe in a women and a men version, because simply the feet is a completely different shape. So those are the three important things for an optimum fit: is really left and right toe form, the cushioning areas just placed where they have impact, and then the women and men fit for a perfect fit. More or less clear?
Yeah.
The second point, which is very important for sports, is climate control. This was also the most complicated part. we developed the sport socks together with Gore-Tex. I don't know if you know Gore-Tex, if you've
Yes.
heard about it. Gore-Tex is a membrane which is waterproof and at the same time breathable. So water cannot go in, but moisture, as long as it's in gas form, can go out. So the idea was to keep the food and the body as dry as possible with this Gore-Tex membrane. And they had a lot of complaints of Gore-Tex shoes or of users of Gore-Tex shoes saying, I still have wet feet. The shoe is working, but I still have wet feet. And they find out that the problem was a sock that are not wearing the perfect sock for the sport shoe. This is 20 years ago. Then we started to develop our ergonomic sport system, or the pre-article of the system. The problem is, and this is for each sport shoe. I'm not a designer, but I try to make a sport shoe. Well, this is a sport shoe from the side. Maybe you. So here is the sport shoe, the red material that I have pictured here. And then you have a sole. And in all sport shoes, except of 2 or 3 exceptions, the sole is not breathable. So here, nothing can go out of the shoe because it's a PU sole, a E4R sole, or whatever sole, but normally the sole is not breathable. You have this Deox shoes, you have 1 or 2 shoes of Adidas which have the breathable sole, but normally the sole is not breathable. So the only breathable part of the shoe is what you see here red, or the leather part in a trekking shoe or whatever, but it's always only breathable in the upper area, not in the sole. But most of the moisture is produced here, in the sole of your feet. You know, everybody, if you put out your socks or if you walk at home, you see the footprint with the sweat. So the sweat is produced mostly, not only, but mostly here with the sole, where nothing can go out. And that's a problem. So what we did, we tried out a lot of different material combinations, and at the end, we come to the solution which we are using for all ergonomic sport system socks. No. Once again, from the knitting process, this is the machine, and you knit 1 yarn in the complete sock. I have an example here. It's a red material, which is knitted always. The whole process, the red yarn is used. And then in some areas we add a second yarn with loops. So here, for example, if you turn it around, you see the white material in this case is the material which is in all areas, and the second material here is just added in the sole. So this material, the ground material, how we call it, is always a material which absorbs moisture. It could be cotton or wool, but it's always a material which absorbs very good moisture. And the second fiber, which is embedded in the loops, is a polypropylene. Polypropylene is not absorbing any moisture. It's a hydrophobic material, so it cannot absorb moisture. So what happened, the sweat is pressed through the propylene from your weight because you are standing on it, and then walking or going to be transported on the wool or on the cotton to the other part. So moisture comes here and moves then to the other part. And here you have the sole where nothing can go out of the shoe, so we bring the moisture from the sole to the upper part. Is this clear? More or less clear? And it's for all our socks. So always here in this case you see the yellow material is a polypropylene and the black one is a